So we are back here on News at Den TV after the international break. First game back for the Lions is an away trip across the border to Wales. They face Swansea City on Saturday. It's going to be a tough game. Swansea have had a very good start to this season. They are still up and around the playoff sort of area, and they do have a good squad. There was definitely some question marks at the start. Some of their loan players coming back, did they almost think they was too good? You know, there was quite a lot of talk about some of their players. We'll move on to them in a second, that were potentially on their way out, but they've stayed and they've done well so far. Steve Cooper, this is his first job managing a men's team. He was the coach of the England under-17s team that won the World Cup a few years ago. Obviously, you could say he's had a very good start to management as well. And obviously, it isn't the easiest job to take at the minute, Swansea. They have a lot of issues behind the scenes at board level. Seems to be a lack of investment from American owners. So they're obviously hoping that gets sorted, but they're in a good enough position at the minute. So who are the danger men likely to be for Swansea? Again, I've picked out one from the defence, one from the midfield, and one from the attack to watch out. So the defender I've picked is Ben Wilmot. He actually scored the winner in the derby they had a few weeks ago against Cardiff. He's a very accomplished defender. He's on loan from Watford, I think it is, and he's doing really well, flourishing under Steve Cooper, who does like to give the younger players a chance. But yeah, from what I've seen of him this season, he's looked very accomplished next to generally Mike van der Horn at the back for Swansea, and that'll definitely be a tough task to break down, whether it be Bradshaw, who looks like he's been playing with a little bit of an injury the last few weeks. Hopefully he's back up to full speed after the international break, but it looks like he'll have a tough task, so could be interesting to see if we maybe up for a front two again, maybe Bodvarsson, maybe Matt Smith after what happened against Charlton, obviously. But I think Ben Wilmot will probably be the defender. Also, Jake Bidwell at left back. He's actually a very solid left back. Someone who I did kind of want the Lions to sign in the summer. He was available on a free, released by QPR, picked up by Swansea. He's doing quite well for them. In midfield, a first of two loan players who came back to the Swans in the summer, and there was a bit of uncertainty. Would they stay? Would they go? Well, they've stayed. The man I'm talking about is Andre Ayew, the Ghanaian international. Spent last season out on loan in the Turkish league. He's a very good player. I think he hit double figures in the Premier League one season back when Swansea was still in the Premier League. So there's no doubt he is a good player. He's probably lost his way a little bit, like Swansea lost his way a little bit over the last few years. But now with Steve Cooper, he's starting to rediscover his best form. And whether he starts at the right or up top like he has in recent weeks, he's likely to pose a threat, especially with the experience that he brings. Not just Premier League, he's also played in the top tier of French football. And his brother is currently playing for Crystal Palace, Jordan Ayew. Striker I've picked out is the second player who was out on loan last season for the Swans and has came back. It is Borja Baston. He started the season like a house on fire. He's kind of dropped off recently, but he's definitely a player in the mid. Only actually scored 3 goals in his last 2 seasons, I think it was, in La Liga. But he's came back, hit the ground running. He's the Swans' top goal scorer this season, and he's likely to pose a threat. He's a striker who likes to try and play physical, which I think works. If you look at what Fulham did with Mitrovic, playing their sort of passing style of football, I think this is what Swansea have sort of tried to do with Borja Baston. It's definitely got them a few results. Not only is he obviously sort of a tight man, he's a very good poacher. He scored quite a few goals, sort of just being in and around that 6-yard area. What any type of striker would tell you is a goal that they'd probably rather score than that from 25 yards out. But he's the danger man. I think Sam Surridge as well, because he's also scored quite a few recently. He scored the late winner that they had in their recent game against Wigan Athletic. I think he could be a danger man as well. He's on loan from Bournemouth. He spent last season on at Oldham, hit double figures. Still young, still time to grow, but I don't know if he'll play this weekend. Obviously, Steve Cooper has a bit of a selection dilemma. He has very good players in a lot of good departments at Swansea, and he seems to be getting the best out of them right now. No defeat in their last 3. 1-2 of them, one of them a big derby match against Cardiff for them. So I think this will be a very tough test for the Lions at the weekend. Obviously, we've had our first away game under Gary Rowett, which ended in defeat. A disappointing first hour, which kind of gave Reading a 2-goal head start, and then The Lions did eventually manage to put it back to 2-1. They gave it a good go. Probably, unfortunately, not to get an equaliser. You feel like if that game had gone a little bit longer, they might have got the equaliser. But I think overall, that was a fair result. So it'll be interesting to see if we go with a different game plan for this week. Rowett has spoken about potentially employing a different game plan. And I think that momentum from Charlton, hopefully that hasn't been lost over the international break. One concerning thing was that Malumbi was withdrawn at half time for the Ireland under-21, so hoping that injury is not too serious. But my score prediction for the weekend will be a 1-1 draw. I think we'll be able to get a point there. I know they're a good team. I think we can match them in certain departments. We can beat them in certain departments. I think they'll beat us in certain departments. I think Andre Ayew will score for the Swans, and I think Bradshaw will get an equaliser for the Lions. And I think it'll be a good point away from home as the Lions look to climb the table. But that's my prediction for Saturday. Come on, you Lions.